Changes are likely coming for all city workers after controversy over Cincinnati officers using a racial slur.
The police department released body camera footage of 2 officers using the N-word in separate incidences. Angela Ingram is live with how Mayor Cranley is taking a hard stance on this racial bias. Angela?
Well, Rob, the mayor essentially called for an emergency ordinance that would call for all city workers to go through training on biases. And the police chief says that no one wearing that badge or that uniform should be using that word.
Quiet in there! He hit me in there! He hit me in there!
After body cam video of 2 Cincinnati officers calling people the N-word in separate incidents, Mayor John Cranley says more training is needed.
We all know that racism is the original sin of American history, and the use of the N-word is totally unacceptable.
Officer Dennis Barnette, who is white, is accused of calling a woman the slur on New Year's Eve. Officer Donte Hill, who's African American, is accused of calling a group of people the slur in September. Hill was initially given a reprimand, but last week, Hill was placed on desk duty after the police chief wrote a memo saying Hill's behavior was as egregious as Barnette's.
I personally, as the leader of this organization, I apologize that word was ever used. Again, I know the significance of it. I've felt that sting both personally and professionally.
The mayor's emergency ordinance calls for all city workers, including police, to get explicit and implicit bias training.
This affects all of us, and when we are in need, we don't want the people that come in to rescue us, whether it be firefighters or police officers or whoever, to make prejudicial assumptions, because it could hurt the chances of us surviving.
In October, the city manager put harsher punishment in place for incidents like these. The punishment for the first offense is 40 hours docked pay and more training. A second violation will get a city employee fired.
I don't want the work of the other over 1,000 officers that are out here on a daily basis doing an exceptional job to be judged by the mistakes of a few.
And some have been calling for those officers to be fired immediately. That will not happen. And that is because these are city employees. That means they are entitled to due process and administrative hearings. Reporting live at City Hall, Angela Ingram, Local 12 News. Rob, back to you.
Angela, thanks very much. The emergency ordinance goes to the Law and Public Safety Committee next week, then on to full council for a vote.